morning to you. As you can see, my setup here for today's practice, and I'm sure you have seen my video and whatever I've posted about it, that you will need a blanket. I have myself kind of set up, but you don't necessarily have to have that right now, as we will take a few minutes at the beginning just to kind of ground, and we'll do a little bit of movement first before we get into the kind of the juicy part of the practice. So just make sure you have a blanket. If you don't, go and grab one. And for this morning, we're going to focus quite a bit on upper body strength. Mixing, so if you think upper body, we've straight arm strength, which we do quite a lot of in yoga. We have push strength, and then we have pull strength. And pull strength is something that we don't do a huge amount of in yoga, and it's quite challenging to incorporate pull strength into a practice like this, and that is why the blanket is there. It's also there just to bring in an external object to give the kind of mind and the brain just a little bit more to try and kind of to figure out, basically. And we'll play around with sun salutations towards the kind of second half of the practice. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that, and we'll see how we go. So what I'd like you to begin with is just in a comfortable seat. So sorry, I'm scratching and fidgeting, so I'm going to stop. We'll start in a seat, and whatever position for you feels comfortable. So whether you want to sit on your heels, or you want to take a cushion maybe in underneath the sit bones and give the hips a bit of elevation, come into a cross-legged position. And just give yourself a moment or two, get yourself settled. Let the hands come to rest wherever they're comfortable resting. And you can close your eyes or just let your gaze become a little softer. And we'll just sit for a few moments and enjoy the quietness and the stillness of the breath. So for these few moments, just let the breath breathe. Allowing the mind to follow its flow, tracing the inhalation all the way to its peak, and the exhalation all the way to its bottom, to the base. And see how it feels to just be with your body here. And try and maintain an element of softness. Softness in your belly. Softness in your mind as you trace your breath. A lot of this practice is going to be quite rigid in its nature, as we're going to focus on quite a lot of tension and activation of the muscles of the body, the muscular system. And within that, it's important that we can bring a sense of balance to that. So can we find the softness here within our breath, within the mind? The softness, notice the fluidity. body's too rigid? Can it restrict the flow? The flow of the breath. The flow of the energy as it moves through the channels, the chi, pran. And the flow of the mind as it follows. And just for a moment here, become a little bit more upright in your spine, more grounded in your seat. And feel around the whole trunk of your body, there's a support system. Maybe you feel it in the way of like a corset. So bringing in a sense of tension or engagement here. But within that, can you keep the softness? And that's something we're going to try and maintain through this practice. Is balancing that sense of softness with strength, with rigidity. And as you breathe here, think of that corset supporting you. But don't allow your breath to be restricted, especially in its movement through all the sides of your waist. If we pull in too much through the belly, we may restrict the movement of the diaphragm and the pressure system that is the deep core. Let the eyes gently open. And for the next 3 to 4 minutes, I want you to move yourself now freely and continue to find a sense of softness in your movement, feeling some flow, some fluidity. And as we're focusing on the upper body, I want you to just get your neck moving, your shoulders, your arms, and your spine. In whatever way feels good for you. You're lucky you've got the privacy of your own home. Nobody's going to be looking at you. You can run around the room if you wish. You can start standing, or you can just come to your hands and your knees and give yourself I'll give you 3 to 4 minutes here, okay? There's no right or wrong. Maybe you close your eyes and just allow the body to move you. Allow your body to awaken this morning and feel a sense of freedom as it moves. And if you are upstanding, just begin to make your way towards your hands and your knees. And if you're already on your hands and your knees, just take another few moments. Wiggle as much as you can. Like I said, there's never a right or wrong. you don't necessarily have to do the same thing on one side as you do on the other. That's the freedom and free movement. So find your way down onto your hands and your knees if you're not there. Come sit and set yourself up just like I have here. So your mat's going to fold itself over, and that's just purely for padding at the knees. You don't even need to have a mat, okay? And then take your blanket, and if you do have something like carpet, have a slippery surface that we can place the hands on, and later on the feet are going to come on them. So once you've got your knees set up on your, it's a mat, you're going to set your hands on your blanket here. And you might even, at the beginning here, just give yourself a fold over of your blanket to just pad the hands a little bit more. So whatever feels the most comfortable for you, or whatever you may need here. We're going to spend quite a bit of time on the wrists, so we'll do a little bit of prep work first, just to kind of give our forearms some heat, some support, so that can translate down into the wrists. If it gets too much for you at any moment, you can either come onto your fists, or you may even wish to bring yourself down onto the forearms. So from this position, I want you to really fan your fingers out as wide as you can, and try and create a couple of wrinkles in your blanket, like you're pulling your finger pads back towards you. And you'll notice, actually it's much easier now that we do have a blanket than trying to do it here on the mat. As you pull your blanket back towards you, or you'll start to feel that your finger knuckles are gripping. So we're kind of gathering that blanket, and that's just going to have to give you a little bit more even distribution of the load of your weight. Spin the eye of your elbow more forward, and try and press a bit more of your weight into your index knuckle here. For some of you, you're going to have quite a little bit of space underneath, and that's okay, but just put the intention of pressing down into that index knuckle here. And eye that elbow spinning more forward, and then let your weight just come a bit more into your fingertips, and I want you to really push down into your fingertips here. And then slowly you're just going to send your weight a little bit more back towards your heels. And we're going to come forward, pushing into the fingertips, using them like brakes, and then pushing yourself back so your bum comes towards your heels. Heel of the hand is going to pull back towards the knees now, push into your fingertips, bum is towards the heels. So we're going to do a push and a pull here between the fingers and the heel of the hand. So think of dragging the heel of the hand back towards the knees, and allow that almost pull you forward. Push into your fingertips. Push yourself back so the bum comes towards your heels. And then one more time, pull the heel of the hand back towards your knees, like you're dragging it back as you bring yourself forward. Push into your fingertips, and then we'll pause here. Take your fingertips out to the side so your thumbs are forward, and just do a little bit of a rocking here side to side. Coming back to center, you're going to flip your hand the other way. What I would actually suggest is bring your knees quite far forward, and then flip one hand the other way, so the fingers are pointing towards your thighs and your elbows are out to the sides, and you're in the back of the hand. If it's way too much pressure right now, bring your knees even further forward and take your hands a little bit out to the sides. Inhale, look forward, have the chest open, and as you exhale, you're going to bend the elbows out to the sides as you slowly bring your chest down towards the mat. If you can handle the pressure, press down into the back of the hand as you push your chest up away from the floor. If you feel you can go a little stronger, let the knees come a little further back, and we'll do 3 more like this. So send the chest down as you inhale, push into the hands to push the chest up away from the earth. Inhale. So it's kind of like we're doing a little push up here. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. and exhale as we push up. Now turn your hands the other way around. They may feel incredibly sensitive. We'll sit back into the heels, interlace the fingers, and ever so slowly start to draw a figure of 8 with the hands. And then once you kind of feel the blood flowing back in, you can get a bit more rigid with the hands, more of an active grip, and then just continue with your figure of 8. Okay, we'll give the wrists a shake off and come to tabletop position here again. And this is where we're going to start to really build some heat now into the forearms. First, knuckle push-ups. Thumbs are going to lift away from the mat. We'll spin the eye of that elbow forward, press down into the shin bones. And we'll start with one hand first. So you want to keep your fingers and the knuckles of your palms down. We'll inhale as we lift the right heel of the hand up, and then exhale as you lower. Left heel up, exhale to lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Left heel lifts, inhale. Left heel lowers, exhale. Now if you're comfortable here, walk your knees slightly further back and see if that makes a difference. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. If you're used to these, do both hands together. Maybe you want to try both hands together. Make sure that the shoulders stay stacked over the wrists. I know for some of you what's happening is you're leaning back when you lift the heel of your hands up. I'm going to call that cheating. So make sure you stay stacked. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. You should start to feel the heat now through the back of the forearm, and we'll go for 3 more. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Press down with your shin bones. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. I don't know if this is the last one. It will be for good luck. Inhale to lift, exhale as you lower. You should start feeling some heat now in those forearms. Now you're going to lean it all the way back. Forearms are going to come down, start tapping your index knuckle. We're going to tap, 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 and you're going to start to bring yourself more forward. And this is going to help to get the front of your wrists. Start to lean back, and you'll notice that you've got way more freedom to get that index knuckle or index finger moving when your weight's back and your heels pick up your middle finger, ground the index finger. Start to bring and shift the weight forward. Feel the forearms, and then again come all the way back. Alright, ground the middle finger, pick your ring finger up. Tap, tap, tap. My pinky fingers want to dance here as well. Start to bring the shoulders up. Keep tapping, keep tapping. Slowly send and shift the weight back. Last one, pinky finger. Tap, tap, tap. Now my thumbs are wanting to lift. Tap, 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 tap. Bring the shoulders over your wrists. Whew. Alright, lean it back. And we'll release the hands, give them a shake. Interlace the fingers, work a soft grip to begin with. And then find the active grip. And you'll notice the difference. Go soft again. Close the eyes and just feel how that is in your hands, in your wrists, in your forearms, right up into your shoulders. And then bring tension, bring rigidity into it. And just notice the difference here. And within that rigidity, can you bring some softness? And then we'll release, shake the hands off, and come to your hands and your knees. Spin the eye, the elbow forward, and for a moment, walk your hands just slightly wider. And notice what it feels like just for the arms here. We have that eye spinning forward, and we're spreading the fingers, and we're working that active grip of the fingertips. Now what I'd like you to do, just like we're scrunching the blanket up underneath the hands, think of scrunching the blanket in towards one another, okay? And even do that and create a couple of wrinkles. And feel that tension now that you're creating in the arms. So bring your hands back to shoulder width distance apart and try and create that same wrinkling but without wrinkling. Okay, so we want to think of pulling the arms together. Feel that rigidity, that tension in the arms, and this is what we want to try and maintain. pressing down through the tops of your shin bones. And we'll cycle through a couple of cat-cows here. But keep arms nice and strong. Inhale, start to lift your tailbone up. Sink your belly down. Pull your breastbone through your arm bones as you lift your gaze. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under. Draw your belly in. Bring your chin in towards your chest. Inhale, tail lifts, belly sinks. Heart moves through the arm bones, gaze lifts. Exhale, tuck under, and really think of pressing your hands down through the mat, through the blanket. One more time, inhale, tail lifts, belly sinks. Heart pulls forward and up, lifting the gaze. And exhaling, we're going to come back into a neutral position, into our start position here. Moving into the scapula now, the shoulder blades. Really focusing on that corset coming back, keeping your lower back in particular nice and neutral, nice and supported here. Firming through all sides of the waist. And for the scapula, you're going to melt your heart down without bending the elbows and focus on bringing your shoulder blades in to meet one another. And then press your arms through the earth as the shoulder blades broaden and the space between lifts towards the ceiling. Think of it like a mountain. And then you're moving and creating a valley between the shoulder blades as we sink the chest and move the shoulder blades in. So we'll do this a couple of times. Inhale, and just remembering the corset is trying to keep the lower part of your spine from moving. All that movement is purely coming from the scapula, the shoulder blades. And it can be quite challenging if we're not used to this movement to get it at the beginning. And it can be often difficult to isolate different parts of the spine, different parts of the shoulders from one another. But it's important that we have a freedom over all the different parts of our joints. As we have such a tendency to move our bodies more globally. All right, we'll go for 3 more. Sink, push away. Sink, push away. Sink, push away. Find a balance in between. Wrap the eye, firm the waist. On the next exhalation, you're going to very slowly start to bend your elbows back behind you to bring your forearms down onto the mat really slowly, so your bum will slightly move back towards the heels. Elbows ground. Inhale as we slowly come back up. Now this time as you exhale, you're going to bend the elbows back, but you're going to take your chest and your chin forward and down, like a push-up. Inhale as you push the arms straight. Exhale as we lean a little further back and bring the forearms and the elbows down. You should be feeling a lot of heat here. Nice and slow with your movement. Keep all that tension in the arms. Think again of that blanket scrunching in towards one another, hands scrunching in towards one another, elbows back, chest is down. Push the earth away as you lift up. One more time. Exhaling as the forearms come down, elbows bend, bum slowly moves back towards the heels. Think of squeezing your elbows towards one another as the forearms lower. Inhaling as we come all the way back up. Grip the fingertips. Exhale as we bend, this time chest and forehead towards the earth. Inhale as you push yourself all the way back up. Well done. Taking your left hand and just placing it onto the head of your right shoulder. Try and not sink your chest down. Lift up out of that right hand. Lift the belly up away from the mat. Press the left shin bone down and you're going to stretch back with your right leg. Keep your right heel lifted, belly lifting, and we'll pause here. Breathing into all sides of your waist. Exhale, take your left hand down. Place your right foot down. Draw your left knee up in towards your chest. You're going to drop onto or bring the right heel towards your left wrist, so the side of your, I can't get the word out, towards your left wrist, in line with your left wrist, and start to bend into your right leg. Lift your right arm up, and you're going to stretch out with your left leg. Hold it here. Hold it here. Now rebend your left knee. Place your right hand down. Pivot on the ball of your right foot. Take your left foot down and stay in a hovering quadruped. Keep your fingers gripping. Breathing for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly set your knees down. Untuck your toes. Slide your hands a little bit more forward as you inhale. Now, not too much. And exhale, you're going to pull your hands back towards you. This can be challenging if the surface you're working on isn't too slippy. Just see how you go. You're going to inhale, slide a bit more forward. Now let the hips come forward, but keep the top of your tailbone. Exhale, pulling back. I did a lot of these yesterday and I'm feeling it deep in that core. Okay, we're going to go all the way out to bring ourselves onto our belly with straight arms, but really slow and controlled. You're going to inhale, start to slide your blanket. Let the hips come forward. Keep your tail tucked. Really slowly. This is going to be a part where you want to accelerate. Strong in your body. Let the breath move through you. You're going to bring your thighs down, your pubic bone down, and then slide your arms all the way forward as you bring your head towards the mat. Press down through the tops of your feet. Hollow your lower belly up and away from the earth, and we'll pause here for a moment. Really strong legs. I want you to emphasize that belly pulling up. Think of creating a little bit of space underneath. But again, can we find a sense of softness in the body here? We're not too tense, and allow the breath to circulate freely through you. With the hands, just have your palms on your mat. And slowly here, you're going to start to pull your hands towards you. Elbows will bend. Head is going to lift. You're going to keep pulling. Keep pulling. Chest is lifting. Keep pulling. Feel the shoulder blades glide towards one another. And we're in a cobra. Hover your hands. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down. Push the blanket away from your body as you lower your head all the way back down. Inhale as you start to pull. Elbows bend. Head starts to lift. Heart lifts. Hover your hands. Exhale, hands onto the blanket. Hands push down and away. One more time as you push down with your palms. Start to find that pull action here. Elbows are bending out to the sides, but try and keep them drawing towards the outer hips as they pull further back. Fingertips come in underneath the heads of the shoulders. Feel now the shoulder blades pulling in towards one another, really activating the rhomboids here, and let the hands come to a hover. Belly still lifting away from the earth. Take a breath. Place your hands back down. Push your hands down. Push your hands away from the body. Take a moment and just feel the sense of heat building in the shoulders. Walk your hands a little further up your blanket. Inhale as you pull in, but this time you're going to push off to the left. Pull in towards your chest, push away towards the right. We're moving on the diagonal. Pull in towards your chest, push away towards the left. Pull in towards the chest, push away towards the right. We'll pull in towards the chest. Press yourself up onto your knees. Send your hips all the way back towards the heels. And we'll give ourselves a little stretch out here in child's pose. Let the elbows just soften for a moment. Hips softening into heels. Legs wide enough apart so the belly has space to breathe. We'll take a breath. And come back up onto all fours, hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders. Knees underneath the hips. Second side. Okay, tone belly on all sides. Think of pushing or your hands in towards one another. Grip the fingers, create some wrinkles underneath your blanket. As we inhale, we're going to bend the elbows back, let the forearms come down. Hips will slowly move back towards the heels. But again, I want you to think of hugging your elbows in towards one another as you lower down. Inhale to come up. Exhale, chest comes forward. Chin comes forward. Inhale as we come up. Exhale, slowly bend elbows back. Send the weight back this time, not forward. Inhale to come up, keep the elbows squeezing towards one another. Exhale, chest comes down. Inhale, push yourself up. And exhale as we lean back slightly, elbows come down. Last one, straighten the arms, inhale. Exhale, chest. Push yourself straight. And slowly come back down. Inhale as we come up. Fingers stay gripping here. Right arm to left shoulder. Pause. Avoid the sinking. And this is working more on one arm strength. Left leg comes back behind you. Left heel comes to lift in the same line as the hip. Belly hugging up away from the earth. Release the right hand down as you exhale. Take the ball of your left foot down. See if I can get this right this time. Suck your right knee in towards the chest. Drop your left heel in towards the midline of your mat. That's a better cue. Bend your left knee. Take your right leg, kick it out to the right. Or to the left, sorry. And we'll take the left arm just up towards the ceiling, holding here. Again, working into that straight arm strength. Pause for one more breath. Well done. Exhale, bend the knee. Bring the left palm down. Pivot onto the balls of your feet. Hover the knees. Quadruped for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the knees down. Point the toes back. Press down through the tops of the feet. Slide a little forward. Inhale. Pull back towards you. Exhale. You might really feel the shaking of the lower body. Go a little bit more forward. Inhale, hips forward. And avoid having your tail lifting. Find the tuck. Pull back, exhale. This is going to be the slow lowering out. Push your hands down and away. Slow. Slow. Roll down through the thighs. Woo! Pubic bone, belly, chest, forehead. Pause. Take a moment just to really let the whole body soften, including the shoulders here and your fingertips and the heel of your hands. And can you visualize that breath circulating through your whole system? Remembering that yes, only the breath does breathe into the lungs, but it is the vehicle, the carrier of the prana energy. And that circulates through your whole being. Press down through the tops of the feet.
create some sort of rigidity in your legs. Pull the lower belly up towards your spine. Pubic bone is heavy, and this will just help us stay out of the lower back. Pushing down with your hands, we're going to change the sequence up very slightly. We're going to find that pull action. Hands push or press down, and they start to pull back. Your head lifts, your heart lifts. Now keep pulling back, keep pulling back, keep pulling back as far as you can go. So the fingers glide in underneath the shoulder blade. Hover the hands. Now pull back through the heel of your hand, but keep your fingertips pointing down. Draw the heel of the hand up even higher. Think of squeezing your shoulder blades here for 5. Feel the triceps. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rebend into the elbow, fingers forward. Let them hover. Keep the shoulder blades squeezing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Lower the hands. This is the last strength for yoga class for a while, so enjoy it. Okay, push the hands away. Pull back towards you. We're going to do 2. This is going to be the second last one. Hold, hover. 1 is not enough. 2 is not enough to really try and create strength and lasting change in our tissues. As challenging as it may feel, pull back through the heel of the hand, fingers pointing down, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Point the fingers forward, hover the hands, squeeze the shoulder blades together, head of the shoulder pulling back. 3, 2, 1. I know you signed up for sun salutations. Lower the hands down, push away. Last one. Press down, lift the head, pull in towards you, hover the hands, pull the heel back, lift the fingertips, or lift the heel of the hand towards the ceiling, pubic bone heavy. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend, point forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Push your hands down into the blanket. Push forward. And take a moment. Soften and relax completely. Releasing any form of rigidity out of your legs here. Belly soft, lower back soft, arms relaxed, head relaxed. Last breath. Activate the legs, pubic bone heavy. Push your hands into your blanket, lift your head, pull all the way in towards you. Push yourself up into a modified plank and come all the way back into child's pose. We'll take a breath here. Press into the hands, come up onto your hands and your knees, and we're going to take a challenging down dog. So as the toes curl, lift the hips up and back, and you're going to start to notice how your hands are going to want to slide forward. So can you try and keep your hands pulling back towards you? Maybe your dog's a little bit shorter. We'll take a breath here. Now come up onto your toes, inhale, bend the knees, look forward, and as you exhale, step your feet forward. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up, and exhale as you lower the arms. Right, give your shoulders a little roll. And this foundation we're going to set ourselves up with here, you're going to have your blanket towards the top of your mat. And then fold your mat up. We just want to have enough surface for our hands. So if you think of your feet are on your blanket and you're coming into a plank position, I'm going to pull my mat quite far back. Okay? And you're going to stand on the blanket. Set your feet up about hip width distance apart. Ground your feet, strong legs. Take the arms down alongside you. Spin your palms forward. And just pause, take a breath here. We're going to do two different variations of not so much a traditional sun salutation, but a similar format. Things will feel very different. Body's very awakened now. And the thing with sun salutations, especially if you are a vinyasa flow type yogi where you do often 5 to 10 sun salutations in a practice, and if we were doing that regularly and often, it becomes repetitive and almost unconscious. So the body and the mind aren't working as much as they should be working, because it's just like, oh, this is already programmed into my system. And what we're always trying to do is challenge the brain in new ways of moving, in movement variation. And that's why a practice like today is really important to do maybe once or twice a week in replacement of a traditional yoga practice, just to awaken parts of your body that aren't used to awakening. And you'll start to feel much stronger, and this work will really complement your kind of regular practice. Okay. But this work is hard. I know it is. But that's why I do love it. All right. Take a breath, maybe a deep sighing one if that's what you feel you may need. Begin on the next breath. We're going to inhale and the arms are going to pull back first rather than going straight up. Now watch, I'm going to over-exaggerate here my pull back as I'm moving into the spine. What I want to try and do is keep the movement really in the extension of the arms. So tail is lengthening down, pubic bone up. And I'm going to really focus on bringing my front ribs towards my pubic bone. Arms are going to pull back. And you're going to feel the triceps here now again working, and the kind of squeeze into the shoulder blades, the rhomboids. Now spin your palms away from your outer hips and take the arms in the same height as your shoulders. We're going to roll the head of the shoulder forward, so the hand is going to spiral down. And then you're going to spin it back, find that external rotation, just like we had with our hands down, the eye of that elbow forward. Take your arms all the way up by your ears. Soft bend into your knees. Think of those ribs, lower front ribs drawing into your back ribs. Bend your knees slightly and you're going to hinge from your hips. This is going to start to work your hamstrings a little bit here, especially with the slippy surface. Think of pulling your feet back, hold, pause, take a breath. And then exhale, you're going to come all the way into your fold. Bring your fingertips to the floor, hands to your shins, and we'll inhale for a halfway lift. As you exhale, take your left hand and place it down. Knees can be as bent as they need to. Right hand to your left shoulder. Right hand comes forward. Think of walking on your hands. Left hand to right shoulder. Left hand forward. Right hand. We're walking ourselves out into a plank. Now place your hands onto your blank or onto your mat and pause in plank. Press up in between your shoulder blades. Grip your fingertips here and inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bend your knees and pull your knees in towards your chest. Push your feet away, plank pose. Pull and push. Pull and push. 2 more. Pull and push. Pull and push. Inhale. Now as you exhale, maybe the knees need to come down. Bend at the elbow creases. Lower all the way down. Untuck your toes. Roll the head of the shoulder back. Lift your heart, lift your chest for cobra. Lift your hands, find them in a hover position. Pause. Exhale, lower the hands down. Lower the chest, lower the head. Curl the toes under. Push yourself all the way up to plank. Modify if you need the knees first. And exhale for your challenging down dog now. This time your feet are going to want to slip back. Think of pulling your feet forward towards your hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Notice the work in your legs here. And slowly walk your hands back towards your toes, towards your feet. Soft bend into your knees. Come to your fingertips. Halfway lift. Inhale. Now stay in your half lift and get really light on your fingertips and notice how the strength translates into the legs to support you. Bring your hands by your chest, palms facing towards your chest, towards your breasts, elbows out to the sides. Stretch the arms straight out from the body. Strong legs, turn the palms, inhale, lift all the way up, and exhaling as we lower the arms back by the outer hips. And we're going to do that same sequence one more time. Pause and take a breath. Inhale, pull the arms straight back. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards one another. Think of your ribs down and your legs strong. Spin your palm away so we find the external rotation of the shoulder. Bring your arms up with the height of your shoulders. Spin the head of your shoulder forward where we take internal rotation. And you're going to feel the chest collapsing in a little bit here. Find your external rotation. Take the arms all the way up by the ears. Soft bend comes into the knees. Hinging from your hip creases. Take it slow. We want to use our legs here. We often focus on lengthening the hamstrings rather than strengthening the hamstrings. Feel your legs here. Think of pulling back with your toes. Hold. Lower all the way down as you exhale. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, lean into your left hand. Bend your knees slightly if you need to. Place your right hand onto your left shoulder. Working that straight arm strength here. Taking a bear walk forward. Nice and slow. Heels will start lifting. And eventually, hands will come back and meet our mat. Once you find your plank, we'll pause. We'll grip our fingertips into that mat, grounding that index knuckle. Whole body strong, take an inhale. Pull the knees in, exhale. Push away, inhale. Pull in as you exhale. Push, inhale. Pull, exhale, 2 more. Pause, inhale here. Exhale, bend at the elbow creases, lower slowly. Come all the way onto the belly. Toes are pointing back, legs are heavy. Roll the head of the shoulder back. Hover the hands as you inhale. Same action, we really want life forming in between the shoulder blades. Pause and breathe. Exhale, lower the hands. Lower the heart, lower your head. Curl the toes under. Push yourself straight up, plank pose. Inhale. Exhale. Down. Slippery dog. Breathe here. Ribs in. Strong legs. Think of pulling the legs forward to keep them from slipping back. Another few breaths. And although your whole body's working here, you may be even sweating. Can you find some element of softness? Maybe it's through the control of your breath. And we'll let the hands start to walk back towards the toes, towards the feet, soften into your knees. Half lift as you inhale, come to fingertips. Bring your palms in front of the heart, elbows wide.
Strong legs, arms open out into a T. Spin the palms, lift up as you press into your feet. Inhale. And exhale as the hands lower. Breath in here. Breath out. Step off your blanket. Make sure it is now where we want our hands to go. And you're going to change it out. Feet are going to stay rooted and stay firm. Pull the hands back as you inhale. Ribs stay down, legs stay firm. Think of the hips moving a bit more forward. Really activate the glutes. Spin your palms, arms come to shoulder height. Internal, move into external. Arms up towards the ears. Now you're going to look up, reach up. Exhale, soften the knees. Fold from the hip creases, spine stays long. Pause, feel the legs be strong here. And folding completely as you exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, lean into the right hand. Tap the shoulder. Left hand, tap the shoulder. Right hand, tap the shoulder. Left hand, tap the shoulder. Right hand, tap the shoulder. Pause. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to lower all the way down. Untap your toes. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Push your hands away. Lower your heart, lower your head. Inhale as you pull in. Exhale, push away. Inhale as you pull. Lift the heart, lift the head. Exhale, push away. Cleaning the floor. Inhale as you pull in. Heart and head lifts. Hover the hands for this round. Squeeze in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hands down. Curl the toes. Push yourself to plank as you inhale and exhale. This is, I find, a harder variation of down dog. I'm slightly cheating with the heel of my hand. Okay, we'll try and not. So the trick here is a shorter dog. A little bit easier to control. Think of pushing your hands in, find that crumpling under the mat. And we'll hold for 5, ribs in, 4, strong legs, 3, 2, and 1. Walk your hands back towards your toes. Half lift, inhale. Tips of the fingers, hands by the breast, facing up, elbows wide. Belly in, ribs in, arms into a T. Feel the effort of your legs. Turn the hands, reach all the way up, inhale. And lower down as you exhale. And this is going to be our last sequence, our last round. I'm feeling that. Okay. Pull the arms back as you inhale. Ribs down, really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Spin your palms away. Reach them up in the line of the shoulders. Head of the shoulder rolls forward. Head of the shoulder rolls back. Arms reach up. We look up. We want to elevate the shoulders. No shoulders down. They're elevating. Exhaling. Soften the knees. Come down halfway. Pause for a moment to feel the activation of our legs. I always like a little soft bend into the knees. Sit bones back. And then fold. Exhaling completely. Inhale. Half lift. Exhale. Lean into the right hand. Tap the shoulder. Left hand, tap the shoulder. Right hand, tap the shoulder. Left hand, tap the shoulder. Right hand, tap the shoulder. Left hand, tap your shoulder. Find your plank. Now think of pulling your blanket back towards your toes. Pause, feel the lower abdomen. Lower down, exhale. 4, 3,
2, 1. Lower all the way to the earth on top of the toes. Belly hollows up. Inhale, find your cobra. Exhale, lower. Push your blanket away as you lower all the way down. Working that pull strength. Push or press down. Pull back. Inhale. Push away. Exhale. Press your hands. Pull back. Push away. Press your hands down. Pull back. Lift the heart. Exhale. Push away. Pull it back. Lift the hands. Find the hover. Find the work. Find the balance of ease in your body through all this effort. Lower the hands, curl the toes, push to plank, push to down dog, exhale. Maybe you travel the hands back. I don't have the effort in me to stop sliding. Hold, breathe. And let the hands travel back towards the toes. Knees are soft. Head is heavy. Half lift, inhale. Hands to face your chest. Exhale, elbows wide. Ribs in, belly firming. Arms into a T. Feel the extra effort in the legs. Turn the palms. Press into your feet to lift up. Inhale. And exhaling as you lower the hands down. Well done. Great effort. Okay, pause for a moment. And just feel what you feel. And slowly now you're going to take your blanket, thank it, and you can place it off to one side. You may want to cover your body in a few moments. And I'd like you to just bring your mat out full. And we're going to take one traditional sun salutation, just so you can feel. Okay? Stand at the top of your mat. And if chaturanga is in your practice, I'm not going to guide it, I'll bring you into a cobra. But if you want to come into that more kind of, into that habit of what you're used to, I'd like you to just do that, okay? We'll inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Lower down, exhale. Cobra, up dog, inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Best down dog of your life, right? Take a few breaths here. Come high on your toes as you inhale. Shift the gaze, lift the hips, exhale, step walk, lightly hop your feet. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale as you fold. Rising up, reaching up, inhale. Exhaling, lower the hands. Pause and breathe. Find your way down onto your belly for me for a moment. Come down whatever way you wish. And just do a nice little pec stretch here before we settle into our Shavasana. So take the left arm out to the left. Wrist in line with shoulder. You're going to take a bend into your right knee. Lift the right foot up. Aim your right toes towards your left hand. And you're going to look towards the ceiling here. Press down into that left hand like you're firming it into the earth. And we'll pause here. Maybe the head relaxes back down as the gaze stays up towards the ceiling. And just breathe a couple of breaths here. So a lot of that pulling work is really important, not only for us yogis, but for everybody in general. Because if you think of our posture, and this is a generalization, but just goes off my own experience, my own body, and for the bodies that I work with, that we have such a tendency to be in that kind of upper back rounded position and the chest caving in a lot, that the stretch that we're doing now, getting into the pec, those muscles here, for very many can be quite tight, and they pull the shoulders a bit more forward, and that brings quite a weakness into the muscles of the upper back, the rhomboids in particular. And the work that we're doing today, a lot of that pulling action and the squeezing and the lifting of the hands is trying to counteract some of that. So it's opening the chest a bit more and strengthening the muscles in between the shoulder blades in order, and that will help to correct our posture in time. But what I've learned is we often need, if we really want to create lasting change in our tissues, not only do we need repetition, but we need weight and we need resistant bands. So as wonderful as yoga is, if we really are just using this practice to create these type of changes, unless we're doing a lot of this work on a regular basis, we're not going to get a huge amount of change, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so release this side and come into the other side. And the other thing is our bodies, they get so used to, and this is where the sun salutation, what I'm talking about bringing in different variation, we get so used to moving in a particular way that it becomes a habit pattern for the nervous system, for the body. And again, that is difficult to try and create change within that. How hard is it to break a habit? If you think about it, especially bad habits, very challenging. So I just hope this brings a little bit more awareness into the work that needs to happen, especially for this upper back. And I know for me it's a massive problem area, and doing just yoga with it isn't enough for me, because my body's so used to using its own body for weight that it becomes similar like the sun salutations. It gets just so used to it that it doesn't create the change that I need. So now I'm trying to do some of this work with adding in some weights, like using 3 and 4 kg, just to see if it can do and help to create some bit of change, because I have a little problem spot in my left side of my upper back from years of neglecting some of that push strength, unfortunately. But that's just me and that's my experience. It's not the same for everybody. So just take another breath or two here. So as much as we need to strengthen, some of our muscles also need to be released. So getting into that chest can be beautiful here. And really breathe into that experience you're feeling. Once you release, pull yourself back into a child's pose, but with your thighs together and you're sitting on your heels. Your forehead can come down and interlace your fingers behind your back. You're going to try and squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift your knuckles up towards the sky. And then lift your belly and your ribs up away from your thighs. So what we're doing here is very similar to the work that we were doing, activating in the same place, but this is more of a passive stretch. So we're not really strengthening, but it feels good. Feels good for right across the heart. So take a breath here. Maybe take one more.
release the clasping of your fingers. Give the shoulders a roll and come to rest. So whether you wish to lie completely down into a traditional Shavasana, take a blanket, or you have a blanket, so place that maybe over the body. You might even wish to come into a seated position. So we'll be here for just 3 to 4 minutes. I'm just conscious I've gone a tiny bit over time, and I know some of you have a day to start, and unfortunately don't have the luxury to lie here for as long as you may like to. So I'll ring the bell, the singing bowl, to bring you out of the stillness and the silence. And this is a time for you now to let go of any effort. Allow your body to just really be held here by the earth. And invite that sense of softening. So you can feel the movement, the internal movement, that constant flow, whether it's your breath, your blood moving through your veins, the energy, the pran, flowing through the rivers of your body. Let yourself melt down into Mother Earth, and just enjoy this space. Give yourself this space and time. So whether you are sitting or lying, if you're in a seat, you can just stay for a few moments. And if your body's resting out on the earth, just begin now that slow, slow transition. Very gentle movement, a gentle awakening as you bring yourself up into a seated position. And just let the hands rest on the knees or on the thighs. And take a moment just to sense now how you feel. Notice how you feel in your physical body, in your heart, and in your mind. And let the hands come together. Bow the head forward. And if you have an intention, sankalpa, a heart's prayer, moment of gratitude, just to close your practice here for yourself in your way. And together we'll take a breath into the heart. And we'll take a breath out from the heart. And bowing forward. Namaste. Thanking you all for tuning in and joining me this morning, or whatever time you maybe catch up on this practice, on this video. So I hope you got something from it. I know it was challenging and something a little different, but like I say, variation is key to a healthy body. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And yeah, I hope to see you soon. So this will be the last full week of classes, online classes. The studio will be reopening at the end of the month. Don't have a set date yet. I'm just figuring all that stuff out. And I will be back online again in August in a different capacity, but I will be doing some stuff online. So yeah, just keep an eye out on all the things for information. And again, thank you for your support.